Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel Tech Track with AJ. This is Ajay Kumar. Today I am going to be discuss the topic asset versus CI and CI versus asset, which I got to know like there are lots of confusion related to assets and the CI. So we are going to be deep dive into asset versus CI and CI versus asset today. So let's start the session. So today we are going to be discuss or end of this video you will going to be understand what is an asset, what is consumable assets, what is CI, what is model category, what is CMDB, assets and CI creation, as well as sync of the fields install status, hardware status between asset and CI. So let's go and deep dive into those particular topics. So let's discuss or let's start with an asset, right? What is an asset? An asset is intended to assist with tracking through financials, contractual and leasing lifecycle. Asset can be a laptop, desktop, server, network device, table, chair, buildings, etc. Right. So, in simple words, if I say the asset is going to be track the financials, contractual and leasing informations where we are going to be track that one as well as the life cycle of that particular asset. Then let's talk about consumable assets. What are the consumable assets, right? So consumable assets are particular class of assets where you wish to store that you have purchased a quantity and the total cost of lower value assets or assets that you would not normally track by serial number. Such assets are excluded from the automatic sync for the simple reason that CI are not relevant. Like example of consumable assets are mouse, keyboard, headset, etc. So where the lower cost include and which is not going to be tracked as an CI, that are consumable assets. We are just going to be track how many we have purchased and how many what is the quantity of it as well as what is the cost of it, and then who are and to whom we are assigned those particular consumable assets. Then let's move to the next slide where we are going to be discuss about the configuration items. So what is configuration item, and we also called CI. So configuration item is mostly used to track configuration, configuration things, operationals, as well as relationship informations. Basically, it's a record available in our CMDB. CI includes devices, services, infrastructures, softwares, and so on. Now let's talk about difference between asset and CI. So what is the main difference? A CI can be an asset, but asset may not be a CI. So let me give an example here, like buildings, like that cannot be in a CI because we are not going to be configure or are not going to be track the relationships of it, right? As well as if I give an example of asset as well, uh, you know uh, that sometimes consumable assets, right? Mouse, keyboards, that cannot be a CI. Second thing is CI can be configurable, but all assets cannot be configurable. Again, the same thing, buildings is not configurable, right? It cannot be a CI, and CI can be configurable as like servers and end user devices, laptop, desktops, network devices that are configurable, right? We are going to be track the configurations of that particular device as well as we are going to be track the operational and relationship information in the CI. Let's move to the next slide. Here I'm going to be discuss about the model category. What is model category? And that is the basic things which is going to be help out to track the information about Here we are going to be discuss the uh, model category. So model category records primarily function is to drive the automated creation of the assets and the CI. Model categories associated CI class and with asset class. Model categories are part of the product catalog applications as well as the model categories configuration determines if the ServiceNow platform create an assets from the CI, and if so, what will be the class of that particular assets. So asset classes in the base systems are hardware, software license, and consumables. If you can associate a model category to many models and model to many model categories. For example, a specific model of a computer can be a computer and a server. So, it helped me to determine, it helped to, give a clear information about how the CI is related to a asset. So when we are going to create a asset, we are going to be select a model, right? And based on that particular model, model categories are defined on that particular model, and based on that CI will be creating in that specific class. The same way, if we are going to create a CI on any table based on the model, again, it's going to be assess which model category, or in simple words, if I say which asset class, it's going to be create a record in the asset table. Next, CMDB. So many of you already heard about CMDB as I already discussed in this one. But what is the CMDB? CMDB is a database that contains all the information about the application and devices providing services and organization. Each service supports data stored in the configuration item that is unique to that particular service. So ServiceNow CMDB lets you build as well as organize representation of your services, assets, and relationship between them, and that make up your enterprise infrastructures. CMDB stores details about these components, which can further be utilized in monitoring infrastructure, helping to ensure coherence, stability, and uninterrupted service operations. So this is all about CMDB. Now let's move to our ServiceNow instance to see how to create an asset and how it's going to be help you out. Right. So I am here. Once you logged in your PDI, you have to navigate to left navigation and type hardware. So once you type hardware, under the hardware assets, you can see that one, as well as you can type ALM underscore hardware dot list to see the back using the backend name to open the direct particular table. So here I'm just missing dot, like, yeah, hey. So ALM hardware table is open now. So how we are going to be create an asset? Let's start to create a clicking on new. We are going to be create an asset here. So as I mentioned, model category. What model category you want to be referred, right? So let's refer model category as a Linux server. So that is defining my CI will be creating in the Linux server table. What will be the model? So I just take a reference of it and just creating the model is IRS 5875. What will be my asset tag? So asset tag is something which is going to be help out to track that particular asset. So I'm just putting asset tag is here as a 7887. And again, serial number is a unique value which is going to be track that particular asset. What is the serial number of it? So I'm just putting this one as a serial number. What is this? What is status of it? What is state of it, right? So in use the state of it. I'm not putting anything as of now. And we can also fill couple of other informations, like I'm just going to be fill department and company, right? So these two informations I'm going to be fill here in the general section. And if you see, class is a hardware based on the model category, the class is hardware. Sometimes the class will be software licenses or consumable assets based on the model category that will be populated automatically. Again, as I mentioned, we are going to be track the financial information. So here, that cost will be automatically populated based on the model category is associated with that, right? If I select here, like, dollar, so I can correlate that one as well, and I can select whatever the value of it, right? So there are cost, these are the active currencies available here. There are lots of other currencies available which we can activate. Apart from that, we can track what is the vendor we purchase is, what is the cost center for it, what is the acquisition method of it, we purchase is or lease or rent or loan, expenditure type, capex and opex, right? Then we can also track the disposal regions, beneficiary, resale price, depreciations values we can track, right? What when we are going to be depreciate, what is the depreciation effective date for that, and what is the salvage value that will be going to be automatic calculated, right? Again, we can also track the contracts under that, right? And entitlements as well related to software licenses, right? So that is the particular hardware catalog or hardware we are creating a new record, right? Let me save this. So once I save this, a new record will be created and display name will be populated based on the asset tag and the model automatically. So this is the out of the box, which it's populating a display name for that particular asset. The same way, let's move to the Linux table to see is there any CI created. So I'm just moving out to Linux table as well as I'm opening. I'm just giving you the backend name of this one, CMDB CI underscore Linux underscore server. You can also open using that one as well. So once I click, I can see that particular table as well, right? So if you see, I just created one record. So that is the one record which I just created. Let me open that record. And if you see here, automatically the name will be populated here as a 5875. Asset tag will be, copying from that hardware record. Manufacturer will be populated. Asset tag will be automatically, asset config means the reference of the asset is also populated here. The same name or display name is available on my asset as well. Apart from that, if you see the serial number, the model ID, the company, and the department is populated here based on the asset information. Now you are going to be see how that things are populating here. So basically there are mapping between CI to asset fields, which is going to be reference here. That is asset CI field mapping. So if I type asset here, you can see asset CI field mapping, install status mapping. Let me open all three just to showcase you. So asset CI field mapping have a field mapping out of the box available for lots of fields, which is going to be populate or which is going to be sync together or in the both ways from configuration item to asset or asset to configuration item. So here, if let's take an example here just to give you demo. Here I'm just selecting a location to APEC, right? And I'm just saving this form. So that APEC location will automatically populated here on my hardware asset or hardware table record, right? The same way if I update any assigned to like this one on this record, that again will going to be auto populated automatically on my hardware as or on my CI basically. So see, if you see, that is automatically populated. Now you are surprising the location will be updated again. So that will be updating based on the user or assigned to we have selected here. Based on that, that location will be populated. The same way, we can track that or we can track or field mapping between the both CIs or both assets using those particular things. If I'm going to be assigned any support group as well, the same will be replicating here as a support group. But support group field is not there on the form, so that's why it's not visible. But let me add you managed by example. So I'm just managed by Ajay Kumar. If I save this, that will be updated here Ajay Kumar. Right, so these are the fields mapping. So as I mentioned, asset CI field mapping out of the box, We can also add new field mapping if we want to be sync attribute between asset to CI, but that is not recommended it if that is not necessarily required to do that, right? So there are 29 fields which have out of the box field mapping. And in backend, there are couple of business rules or schedules running, which is going to be update or syncing these particular attributes or CI field mapping, asset CI field mapping between two tables, SCI table as well as the asset table. The same way, we have also available asset CI install status mapping. So that is between the asset, basically CI install status, as well as the state and substate of particular hardware asset, right? So let's take an example. I'm just giving an example. If I put this to in maintenance and let me save this asset with the maintenance status, automatically my CI will be changed and the install status will be changed in maintenance. The same way, if I go here and just to take an example from here, if I put retired lease return on asset, because that is happening with asset to configuration item, and it will make it my CI retired. So retired lease return, right? So let me put this is retired and let me put lease return, right? So if I save this, it's again going to be update on my CI. But if you see, automatically my operational status is also be synced it, right? Because the operational status is also going to be sync my install status. Based on that, that is automatically going to be worked out, right? The same way, let's do one thing again, just to showcase you. Uh, let me put in stock pending disposal, pending donation, or let me put something else in use. Let me check in use, right? If something is there for in use, no, all in stock, right? Okay, so let me put in transit pending disposal on asset. In transit and pending disposal. Let me save this. It's automatically going to be a state update my this one. It's updated in stock, right? The same way, if I put this particular two in stock in use, automatically my CI will be going to be install and operational status is not synced. So we have to be manually change that operational status to operational. And one more thing, when we are creating any asset through the CI will be created, that automatically going to be in operational status always. But we have to be make sure till the time CI is not in use or not installed, we have to be make the operational status to non-operational. So that particular status is going to be track the status of or operational status of the CI. And one thing just want to be mentioned here, install status. Install status is going to be tracked in the virtual CI or not a hardware CI cases. If a CI is not a hardware CI, it's a virtual CI, then we are going to be track the install status. If the CI is a hardware CI, then we are going to be track the hardware status and the substatus of it, right? So the same way we have hardware status and the substatus mapping as well. So if I just showcase you asset CI hardware states mapping, that is there, that is also going to be sync between the both things, right? So if I changing anything, let's take an example here. I'm changing on asset in stock or pending evaluation, it will change my hardware status to in stock and reserved. So let me put that. Okay. So what is in stock? Pending evaluation, right? So let me save this. Oh, might be I have to be select the stock room as well, right? So once I select this one, you can see automatically my install status put to in stock as well as my hardware status put to in stock and reserve. The same way, if I'm changing any hardware status because that is a hardware CI to in that side, automatically that is also going to be update on my asset side. When it will be working, when the sync direction is the bot only. So if I put pending install, that is going to be changed the substate or state and substate to in stock to pending install. Let me put an example of retired and lost on the CI. So I'm just going to be put retired, and I have to use the substate as well, retired and lost. So I'm just saving this one, and if you are able to see that here, it's going to be missing and lost. That is happening. So that how the synchronization between working between two CIs using that things will be working, right? So we have to be make sure, and we have to be use asset CI install mappings. We have to check the asset CI hardware states mapping and the asset CI field mapping before doing or before writing any custom things on those particular status. Out of the box, all lots of things available under that, right? Let me go back, get back to you on on my PPT. So here, that one thing I just want to mention here, asset and CI status are not mapped on one-to-one basis. Rather, they are mapped to most logical counterpart on the other table. For example, for a hardware asset set to state in stock pending disposal, the corresponding CI is set to in disposal with no substate. The same way, the synchronization happens between the asset states field and the following CI fields. Right, as I mentioned, install status does not have a substatus and must be used for non-hardware CIs. We have to be take care on that side. As well as the hardware status and substatus fields, hardware status is visible or applicable, I say, only for hardware CIs, right? So drive changes by updating the state of the asset form. The asset CI synchronizations can be driven in the following ways. So I just give you an example here. Asset to CI synchronizations. Change to the asset status updates the logically mapped CI install status and hardware status and substatus automatically. The same way when we are moving from CI to asset, change to the CI activate status or hardware status updates the logically mapped asset status and substatus. It's automatically mapping, right? For a CMDB hardware CI, if both hardware status and install status is updated, the hardware status change considered for mapping the corresponding state of the asset. And again, the CI install status and hardware status works independently. So the two fields are not related. CI hardware status change doesn't not change CI install status and vice versa. To avoid confusions, keeping the bot status for CMDB CI hardware is not recommended. We have to be make sure on that side. So that is I'm going to be covered today. That's all guys. I hope you are able to get a more visibility around that. And thank you guys for watching this video. And if you like this particular content, request you to subscribe Tech Track with AJ. Good day, take care, bye bye.